What's going on, Washington fans? Welcome to Taking Command with Josh Taylor here on the YouTube channel. If you are new to the channel, I appreciate everyone that's been subscribing lately. The goal was to try to hit 1K subs before the season started, but it was a reach to start with, but still I like setting big goals and going for it. And it seems to be paying off because we are so close to hitting 1K, and it's the beginning of week 3. So of course, on this episode, I'm going to talk about how the Eagles are coming to town. This big matchup, of course, is the first NFC East game of the season. What worries me, what I like about, our team compared to theirs, but there's just a lot to this game. There's the emotional standpoint. There's how we looked last week compared to the first game, and then how great the Eagles have looked throughout, their first 2 games this season. But I have to tell you that support for Taking Command with Josh Taylor is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer. It's 20% off and free worldwide shipping with my code that you see at the bottom of the screen there. Command20 saves you 20% off, and like I said, free shipping. So if you use their products already, great. You can save 20% off. Doesn't matter what you get, how many times you get it, 20% off your entire cart. And if you don't use their products yet, you can get stuff like this, the Weed Eater, which is my favorite nose trimmer. It's a game changer. So go over to Manscaped.com and use my promo code Command20. Like I said, all of their tools are game changers. And we're going to need some game changers in this one against the Eagles, who, rightfully so, the media loves this team. They're the favorites to win the NFC East. I can't be mad at it. They've looked better than us in both of the games. They actually beat the Lions in their first game. They were up a little bit, and the Lions started coming back on them a little bit, but still then just looked even more impressive in primetime against the Vikings. Of course, it's Kirk Cousins in primetime. We know what that looks like. But still, this team has impressed the heck out of me. It seems like Jalen Hurts is really taking that next step at quarterback that could possibly be their quarterback of the future. And, they've missed on offense with Jalen Reagor, JJ Arcega-Whiteside. They've just had some big offensive misses to where if they would have hit, drafting Justin Jefferson like they should have, maybe their offense would have been in a better situation last year. Of course, they got Devontae Smith, looked great in his rookie season, but then they add A.J. Brown, one of the closest friends of Jalen Hurts. Actually, when Jalen Hurts was at Alabama, Roll Tide, he tried to persuade and recruit A.J. Brown to come over to Alabama, ended up going to Ole Miss. But still, they've always talked about this moment playing together, and they already have such a great connection. You can see it. And after what we've seen last week, I'll even say the first 2 weeks. The first week, it was great defense, but last week, the defense was horrible. Of course, we've all been talking about it. That was, the main thing that I wanted to cover in my film breakdown for week 2, so you can check that video out as well. But it's just taking a look at it. The Eagles have the number 1 offense in the league right now. Washington actually has the 6th best offense in the league, and breaking it down in, by categories, the Eagles have the 7th best passing game. We actually have the 2nd. So we do have a better passing offense than the Eagles do, but the rushing game is not even close for us. I hate to admit it. The Eagles have the 2nd best rushing game in the NFL. We are at 24, but of course we're missing half of our rushing game with B-Rob being out. But we've had Antonio Gibson run the ball. We've used Curtis Samuel in that way that we knew that we were going to. But the Eagles are 6.5-point favorites, and the over/under is at 47.5 right now. If I had to put money on it after what I saw last week, I would have to say the Eagles. The Eagles are the smart pick in this game because defensively they have been, I'd say better than 26th. That first game against the Lions, who, matter of fact, I found a stat today talking about the most big plays in the NFL through the first 2 weeks. Now, a big play in the running category is a play of 10+ rushing yards. And in the passing game, it's 20+ passing yards in a play that makes it a big play. So the Lions are actually first in the NFL with 19 total big plays. They have 11 rushing and 8 passing big plays. Impressive. We knew that their offense has been clicking. They surely clicked on us, and they clicked against the Eagles. So the Lions, your offense is legit, and you don't even have my guy Jameson Williams yet. So it's going to be even scarier. Now, tied for second with 18 is the Philadelphia Eagles, who actually have 12 rushing big plays, and 6 passing big plays. I thought they would have more passing big plays, but Washington actually tied for technically 4th, has 15 total big plays, but Washington is first in big passing plays with 10. No one else has 10. Next one at 9 is the Raiders and the Broncos, which is kind of surprising that the Broncos do because they've looked terrible. But still, Washington leads the league in passing big plays, and we've seen it. We've seen the touchdown to Logan Thomas, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel's getting his. I mean, those big-time passing plays are there. Carson Wentz is doing his thing. Of course, there's going to be a lot of talk of this is his first game against the Eagles. It's all they're going to talk about. For me, I'm not even worried about the emotional side of this, his first game against the Eagles. I think it'll be more so when we go to Philly for that Monday night game. It's at night. The media, they're going to talk about it so much. This game, they're coming here. I just don't get that same vibe. I know he's playing against Jalen Hurts, the guy who replaced him, stuff like that. I don't care about that kind of stuff. For me, that's not the storyline I'm looking at. The storyline I'm looking at is the Eagles are red hot. They're the media's favorite team in the NFC East. They're the favorites to win the division. We looked like hot garbage last week. Why did we look like hot garbage last week? And what can we do to be effective against the Eagles? Because this one can be a game that gets ugly quick, but this can also be a game that's close, hard fought, and we can win this. No one's saying that we can't win this game unless you're like one of the negative fans on Twitter. Do you remember when we beat the Bucs last year? You remember how good we've looked against the Kansas City Chiefs? Looked good against the Packers. We play up, for some reason, we play up to really good teams, and we just can't seem to beat the bad teams. I don't get it. But still, the Eagles, they're good. They are. The preseason hype was there, and they've lived up to it so far. Like I said, the offense is clicking on all cylinders. And for me, it is Jalen Hurts. He's 44 for 63, 576 yards, and 1 passing touchdown and 1 interception. So, of course, they don't have the big-time stats there in the passing game, like touchdown-wise, but still, like, this offense can score quick. We saw how lethal these guys are. He's only been sacked 4 times, but then you look at the rushing game. Miles Sanders, 30 rushes for 176 yards, 1 touchdown. Jalen Hurts, 28 carries, 147 yards, 3 touchdowns. Boston Scott, a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell, a touchdown. So it's a well-balanced machine in the run game. But don't let it fool you. A.J. Brown has 224 yards already. And Quez Watkins is the one that had the 1 touchdown. But all these guys can beat you deep. A.J. Brown has a 54-yard catch. Quez Watkins has a 53-yard catch. So, it's there. We saw it against the Vikings especially. Jalen Hurts has an arm. That's never been a question for me. It's been like his accuracy. People say he's had a limited arm. I can tell you since I started watching that boy at Alabama, arm talent was never the issue. It just seemed like things were not clicking for the Eagles, and it seems like they are this game. So, and like I said, A.J. Brown, he's right now the 3rd highest graded wide receiver in the entire NFL. Number 1, Stephon Diggs. Number 2, Cooper Kupp. A.J. Brown, 3. Tyreek Hill, 4. And Justin Jefferson, 5. So what does Washington do to kind of slow this down? Which kind of sucks because our front 7, it just hasn't been there. And I know the talk's been on Jamin Davis. The talk's been on Cole Holcomb, this linebacker core, how bad David Mayo looked. The front 4's banged up. But for me, this is a game where it has to come down to Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, and Deron Payne stepping up and being those veteran game changer guys. All these first-round draft picks, there was no reason for teams to be running the ball at will against us. So as much as you want to talk about the passing game and what Jalen Hurts can do, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and how our secondary has been really bad. Amon-Ra St. Brown tore us up. I get it. But Washington has allowed 7.5 yards per rushing attempt so far this season. And most of it's because of what DeAndre Swift did to us. But it's because of that front 4 not getting the leverage, not shutting down those lanes, but then also not having the run support of the linebackers and depending on formations, even the safeties and corners, missing tackles, just stupid plays. Like I said, I did the video on it. Check it out. There's just no reason that Swift should have been running like that. And he's a beast, absolute beast. But still, Washington with all those guys up front, I don't care. With Chase Young being hurt, I don't care about Wise being hurt, Hill being hurt. It does not matter. The key guys are there. Allen, Payne, Sweat, and James Smith-Williams has been no impact at all. He's the bottom 3 of all edge rushers of pass rush winning percentage. So pass rush there, I'm not expecting anything out of him. No offense, but he just hasn't been there and done anything. So for me, it's all up front. I want Washington to do this. I want them to win with just 4. Don't blitz, but make Jalen Hurts like see nothing down the field to where he has to run the ball, but then shut it down. Make him pull those passes down. Be like, all right, maybe I shouldn't force something to AJ Brown right now. Maybe I shouldn't force something to Smith. It's just not the call right now. Let me tuck it in. I might be able to get something on the ground. And that's when we just shut it down. Let them pick up short gain, no gain, even better, a loss. But I think that's really one of the key things for Washington is you have to force them to think they can run the ball, but then stop it. But we haven't been able to yet. So it sounds easy, but it's not. But it's a lot better than loading the box and, trying to just be all in on stopping the run, and then you're getting beat deep. Whether it's Dallas Goedert tearing up the linebackers, or like I said, AJ Brown, if he's one-on-one with Kendall Fuller or William Jackson, whoever's there. Ben St-Juste is going to be lined up in the slot with Devontae Smith a majority of the game. I think they're going to put Devontae Smith there because they saw what Amon-Ra St. Brown, did last week. They would move him around. Motion before the snap, the end around, stuff like that with Devontae Smith. Crossing paths with AJ Brown and either Quez Watkins or Devontae Smith. Putting Devontae Smith on the outside opposite of AJ Brown. There's just a lot they can do. They're going to do RPO. They're going to do play action. Jalen Hurts will run the ball on you, and he's smart of knowing when to pull it, when to run it, but then also knowing when to pull it and pass it over the top. So it's not going to be easy. Like, I think matchup-wise, their offense to our defense, it's a terrible matchup for us. I'm not going to lie. We allow 7.5 rush yards per rush, which is atrocious. If you just run the ball the whole game, you will win the game. This is what that stat says. So outside of that, what about our offense? It seems like we've had one recipe of beating the Eagles, and that's Terry McLaurin, who actually has managed 468 receiving yards against the Eagles over the past 3 seasons. No one has racked up more yards against Philly in that time. Literally his first game, if you remember, Case Keenum, the deep pass to Terry McLaurin against the Eagles week 1. First touchdown was against the Eagles. He's been the guy who has owned the Eagles. But they look good. Big play Slay. He's no joke. You saw what he did to Justin Jefferson last week. Shut him down. He has an 84.8 PFF grade this season. Last week, and they are coming off a short week too. Something to think about. Short week. I know it's just a day, but still, Eagles had a short week. Against Justin Jefferson, 6 targets, 1 catch allowed, 2 interceptions, 0 passer rating allowed, according to PFF. That is wild to me. But something that's not getting talked about enough is the Eagles. Their offensive line is actually the highest rated offensive line as well through PFF. Lane Johnson has not allowed a sack since week 11 of 2020. So scary stuff. Scary stuff. They've got everything up front. But I look at our offense. I think we're going to try to do the same thing. The thing is that really hurts us is not having that running game with Brian Robinson. It absolutely hurts. You need that steady running game to keep the defense on their toes. So I want us to get more Antonio Gibson. Even if it's only like these 2-3 yards, you have to have that run game. Same thing with, Curtis Samuel running the ball. You have to have him in the backfield. I mean, I was watching an old Ohio State game today back in like 2016 against Wisconsin. Great defense. And that's what he did, Curtis Samuel. And he did it with the Carolina Panthers too. And he's done it so far in these first 2 weeks. We need more of that Curtis Samuel running in the backfield, but also going out for passes, wheel routes and stuff like that, creating those mismatches that I showed you on the film breakdown the other day. So, like, there's going to be mismatches there. There's going to be opportunities for Washington to score. I just think at the end of the day, it's going to lean solely on, can this defense to any point in time stop the Eagles offense? You need to bring out that bad Jalen Hurts that we've seen a little bit in the last few years. With last year, there's just games where he's so inconsistent, forcing these turnovers. I swear, we don't get enough turnovers on defense. We don't get enough sacks. Their offensive line's great, but our defensive line has like I said, all those first round draft picks. You need to get to the quarterback for us to have a chance. And we saw that week 1 against the Jaguars. We got after Trevor Lawrence, and he was so uncomfortable all game long, throwing wild throws up, interceptions. We were just in his grill the whole game. So if Washington does win this, it's because we get to Jalen Hurts. We force him out of the pocket, but, be able to contain his run. That's what I want Jamin Davis to do this week. Just have all eyes on Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, whoever's in that backfield, and do not let them run on you. Do not. Saying Cole Holcomb, do not let them run the ball on you. Shut it down. Outside of that, I know Chase Roullier is on the IR. Wes Schweitzer's filling in for him. Good thing is they've had, Schweitzer and Carson Wentz have had time in camp because Chase Roullier wasn't 100% in the beginning of camp. They got time together, so I think having that is great. But still, offensive line against their defensive line, Fletcher Cox. They got with Jordan Davis. They're going to bring the heat. They know with Carson Wentz you have to get after him. But that's why I want these quick passes that we've seen. Curtis Samuel slants, drop-offs. Jahan Dotson, these little short routes, these little go routes that he runs a lot of. Same with Terry, these one-on-ones. We have to get these one-on-one matchups, but then we also have to spread the field out. Sideline to sideline. Don't keep everything, in between the hashes. Spread that field out. Try to wear the Eagles out on defense. Put together long drives. Like I said, it sounds easy. It's not. It's going to be a tough game. You are not winning this game by just being like, oh, we outbeat them. It's going to be a hard-fought game. It seems like every NFC East game is the same. It is just 24-7, just nonstop hitting each other. It's just hard hits the whole game, all 4 quarters. It's not like the Jags game or the Lions game, anything like that. It's just NFC East games hit different. They really do. So for me, Washington on defense, stop the run. Make Jalen Hurts throw it. But by God, somebody in this secondary, please show up. This miscommunication stuff, it's got to go. Like, if our defense looks like how it did last week, we're going to get cooked in this game. That's just being honest. We need turnovers, sacks, like the obvious stuff. We've got to do it. We've just got to find a way to be the better team. And like I said, I want long drives. I want us to get the run game going more and just contain the big plays that Philly does. But if that defensive line doesn't look any better than it did, I think John, I know we just signed a little bit. John Ridgeway out of Arkansas, we picked him up from the Cowboys. The Eagles were trying to get him too. He's a big-time run stopper. Of course, with Wise, like I said, 2 hills on the end, but still a lot of deep defensive line guys are out. Donovan Jeter played a good bit of snaps last week. I think Ridgeway plays a good bit of snaps this game, and he's a great run stopper. So don't be surprised if there's plays where we got 5 guys on the line with Sweat, Payne, Ridgeway, Allen, and like James Smith-Williams, and then 2 linebackers. But Cam Curl is coming back. He should be playing this game. I think that makes a ton of difference compared to just looking at our defense this year in the first 2 games compared to last year. We're like all nickel this year. It seems like we're 90%, if not more, nickel so far this year, snap wise. When last year we were doing much more 3 safety sets. And I think rotating Cole Holcomb, Jamin Davis, David Mayo should not be on the field at all. But like I said, keeping Cam Curl up front in that Buffalo role is going to help a ton. Cole Holcomb's playing literally every single snap. Literally. There's probably 1 or 2 snaps a game he's not playing, if not all of them. So that's got to go too. You can't have him out there the whole game because he's getting ate up. Same with Jamin Davis. Rotate. Show different looks, whether it's blitzing, run stopping, going in coverage, man zone, doesn't matter. Mix things up. Make Jalen Hurts have to second guess what he's doing and what he sees. So Cam Curl going to help? Absolutely. Should we be relying on our 7th round like gem that's come out of nowhere? No, because we've got all these first round guys up front that have not performed like they should in the run stopping game. Passing wise, they've looked great. Quarterback pressures, the whole 9 yards. But run stopping, we have to get there. Because if not, the Eagles are going to run the ball over us, control the clock, and win. But nonetheless, guys, like I said, I'm going to be at the game. I think I'm section 105, row 13, something like that, 14. But I saw a ton of people at the last game. So if you see me at the game, hit me up. Feel free to stop, say, hey, I love talking to y'all. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. Very close on the way to 1K, which is when I'm going to start doing even more stuff on the channel. Because you get monetized, there's just so much more you can do. So appreciate everyone who's been tuning in. Of course, going to do a recap show. Probably going to go live Monday night. I'm off Monday. I'm going to try to do every Monday night. I went live Sunday last week just because that game was so bad. I had to talk about it. But like I said, check out the channel. I'm going to go live Monday night. I'll probably say 7 o'clock, 7:30, somewhere around there. Just stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Taylor FB. I'll drop it on there as well. But stop by, give your thoughts. If we win, we're going to celebrate together. If we lose, we're going to rant and talk about the whole thing. And then, of course, I'll wait for the film to come out on this game and break it down as well. Y'all have been loving that, and I appreciate all the support. Y'all have been hyping it up. I mean, this is football season. This is what I love. I mean, this is what we've waited 8 months for, to have these games. Win or lose, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to go through it together as fans. So I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next episode of Taking Command with Josh Taylor. Peace.